Yeah, pretty
rather
big
will
plays.
be, I guess.
So here we go. I think we are ready to jump live into the first pistol round here, Joey, between G2.Kinguin and HellRaisers. Again, it's 5th plays 4th, and so much on the line. The LAN is looming ahead. Another huge game for G2.Kinguin after this against Titan, but it's so important they start off in winning ways today. Of course, they on the T side, this was their choice of map, and it's the CEVO rules. Second map will be Dust 2, and here we go, Joey.
Alright, Angel going to take a look down. Monster doesn't spot anything. I wonder if he hears the footsteps or any of the water rippling over there in construction. Angel's going to go ahead and spot, and actually Stiko fighting one player here at long. That's going to be Rain, completely on the other side of the map by himself, and he's fallen. So now it's Stiko who's alone because he's killed the enemy. The rest of these players, there's Fox coming up, Sandbags will get the entry in this B side onto Simple. Angel is good for one before being brought down, so it's a 3-on-3, and we've got a retake situation on the B site. Kucher with the kit. Kucher also spotting that the players have hopped off. And, well, right into Stiko. Can Stiko find a kill here? He's got to reload that P2K. He's having trouble. He will go down, but Kucher does find a kill, I think, from up in that window. Now Oscar is trying to push through. Finds Jacob, takes him down. Now it's Makalele all over on the other side of Monster, pushing through. And let's see, Kucher will get on the bottom. He's low. Oscar just going to go for that body blocking. And, of course, just a headshot. And there it is. HellRaisers take that first round.
Very nice done by Oscar, as he said, body blocking, running the interference, lands the headshot, and lights out. At least Kinguin do get a bomb plant though, which is going to be pretty big. If they want to just save this round, they can get AKs, maybe a little some more grenades if they so please, going through. And HellRaisers seemingly opting for 3 for masses. What's Simple going to go for here? Just the MP7. Okay, it's going to keep him pretty dangerous up in the faces of G2.Kinguin as the push comes in, and you can see it's not necessarily like a full-on eco in the sense that we've got a Deagle, we've got Tech 9 and armor as well for Jacob. They're going to be able to buy it next round regardless here though.
Yeah, somewhere in between a force buy and an eco. Let's see, did Jacob get... Yeah, Jacob got 2 kills, so he had an extra $600. So right there, that can pretty much... You can write off the Kevlar. I mean, that's what, $50 more? So... Seems pretty reasonable. So he goes a bit raid boss here in the second round. I don't know how much better of a chance that will really give them, but I don't know if it really hurts them that much either. I'm just trying to be, you know, as frugal as possible. As Oscar going to be spotted. Doesn't even bother to take a shot. I think that's kind of smart. He'll just wait for them to walk into Stiko, and that's just, you know, kind of an exercise in trust. I feel like everyone should set up like that in a site one day and just completely rely on your teammate to lock down that crossfire, and you're kind of just the bait. And you know, that's what I like to call positive baiting. Right there.
Yeah, not the negative kind when you get killed and everyone gets wrecked, like a matchmaking. It's the most annoying thing.
Yep.
It's my biggest pet peeve is being baited in games. Like, honestly, it drives me up the wall. But here we go, G2.Kinguin have got the AKs as expected. They haven't gone for a Galil for more grenades, but this is still plenty to work off. The only downside here and the only worry for me is they've got 1 smoke, and that's in the hands of Makalele, so things could get a bit rough for them if that smoke doesn't land or if they don't decide to execute off the back of it. Instead, we're going to have this split and pick comp from G2.Kinguin. We saw aggressive plays initially from HellRaisers up through mid. They decided better of it and back away. Probably the smart play when you're up against the AK-47s, but look at the damage already that's been done onto G2. Jacob and Fox both feel the pinch.
Got some good nades, I'm pretty sure. This is what did that damage. So now
I think it was
Fox,
3 mid as well.
Yeah, one was mid and one was over the plywood walls into construction. They hit the other drain. So 2 well-placed nades, and that puts Fox and Jacob in HP range where, you know, FAMAS and M4 will take you down in 1 bullet to the head. So that's big. Something always you want to think about. That early nade damage for the CTs is actually super helpful, right? And while nades sometimes are a bit inconsistent, as long as it does like 15 damage, you're pretty much good to go with that FAMAS or M4. And we'll even it up with the AK. Actually, technically make it better because you got a higher rate of fire and that more pinpoint accuracy, especially with the A1S, but still spread out, and Makalele looking for a pick will go down. Rain finds the trade as he works out of long with, I think, Fox, and Fox and Rain just crack open this A site.
They do, but look where the bomb is. It's way back towards spawn, so even though they're getting the frags, they're not going to be able to get the plant off this one, so if Angel plays his cards right, maybe he can pull something off special here. 17 seconds left, 15 seconds. It's going to be cutting this one super tight. Angels picked up the AK-47. Both the G2.Kinguin will be residing on the B site very shortly. And Angels is trying to play the time, but he gets picked off from Rain, and there wouldn't have been enough time for that bomb plant. Or actually, they just would have been with like half a second to play with, but still, that was cutting it close. G2.Kinguin, though, did just about pick up the round. And HellRaisers have enough to force buy if they want. And full buy indeed as well, but it's going to be lack of nade, lack of defuse kits. This is G2.Kinguin's moment to strike.
Yeah, so that almost got pretty awkward there for Gamers 2 Kinguin. We had probably one of the most awkward moments I've ever seen yesterday on the HellRaisers versus Flipside match, where Flipside, you know, a team that likes to be tactical, trying to take it slow. They got that CIS play style, kind of similar to Na'Vi, late round executes, and too late in the case yesterday where they had 4 people up against the 2 of HellRaisers, and they just ran out of time to plant the bomb. It was facepalm moment. That's for sure.
It's always the risk you run, though, right? Like if you're gonna buy your time and wait until the last few seconds, it can always come back to haunt you. Yakum doesn't quite get the better of that trade, and he will fall down. So far this buy, almost desperation buy from HellRaisers is paying out. And Oscar, I mean, he's in such a good position to strike with the Mag 7, and there we go. He puts him down. All on Dennis. At least he has the bomb in 50 seconds. It's not impossible for him. There's no utility on the side of HellRaisers. No defuse kits. So if he can try and isolate a couple players and maybe get that bomb down, he's got a real shot at this one. Gonna be hard though.
Well, I mean, if anything's gonna help him, it's probably gonna be the Steam icon for Dennis, and look at that, it protects him right there. Throws off the aim of Simple. Dennis will get a bomb plant, so that's extra money at least. Still a 1-on-2, will be hard to win. Kucher, whoa! Kucher spotted and taken down. Dennis with that fadeaway bullet connects to the face of Kucher. Now it's just Oscar. Gonna try to flash himself through the smoke. You see Dennis just biding his time, hiding behind this headshot ledge. I don't know if he's heard that jump from Oscar. Oscar's now worked his way in behind and will spray him down. I don't know. It's gonna be close. He may just have it in a green defuse. Might be a second off. Yeah.
Oh, he decides at the last second. He's gonna die.
I mean, at that point, you might as well just stick on it to keep Kinguin sweating, right?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not sure if maybe a call came through, you know, someone said, "You've got it," and then he realized he didn't at the end. It sometimes happens, but, well, that's very unfortunate. I was going to say that Oscar played that one pretty much perfectly at the end, just going for the raw out aggression. His team would have called that last remaining player of Dennis was very low, and so he played it well, but unfortunately for HellRaisers, they lose, and that's just off the back of Dennis getting effectively 3 1v1s. That's always the issue you face if you're on the CT side and you don't clump together, at least 2 players on the side. That being said, as I mentioned before, it was a desperation buy for HellRaisers. They lose the round and they're onto Eco. There is a Deagle thrown in the mix here, but we also have the Mac 10 from Yakum, which is to pick up the first frag. Money in the bank, here comes the Molotov as well. Second kill comes in. Yakum picks up the grenade as well, and it's all on Fox to take down Oscar. And that leaves Seco with the P2000. And that's it. I feel a bit sorry for him here.
I mean, maybe that's what the P stands for in his name.
It's possible.
He's just gonna 1v5 here. He starts off with the first, doesn't take any damage. Oh, now he's taking some bullets. Seems to be from Dennis. He'll peek right back out, trying to land some shots with that P2K accuracy, but it's gonna take quite a few from that range. And with the Kevlar and head armor. So Yakum, I mean, we've really seen this Gamers 2 Kinguin squad be won with the Mac 10s. Like, they have always a good read on their opponent's economy, especially when they're on the T side. And, you know, we've seen Yakum and Rain pulling out the Mac 10s all the time, and they've been farming up a lot of money with it, so. Good for Kinguin to get 3 rounds in a row here. Disrupted HellRaisers as they did take the pistol in the next anti-eco. But since then, it's been all Kinguin. Another round here. Limited on nades, but they have an op and it's got 4 rifles.
Yeah, that op needs to be instrumental. Oscar's going to need to do something with this. You can see that he goes into connector side with this, and he spots the first player on party. That's Rain that's been put down. Pretty key frag as well, and he manages to pull himself back without taking any damage. As clean a kill as you could ask for from Oscar. He could even pull out of connector and go back to B if he so chooses, but he decides to push in and gets a second frag onto Yakum. Fantastic individual effort. He's coming back for more. Angel's here as well, though. Oscar misses the first shot. His teammate, his partner in crime, gets Makalele trades out, and HellRaisers have the player advantage, but still you've got Dennis and Makalele standing. And you mentioned this before, Joey, they lack grenades now, HellRaisers, so we're almost in an identical position to where Dennis was a couple rounds ago.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, here's Tico. He hears that shot. He's hoping Makalele will kind of just walk by, but as we know, he's gone down the stairs. And If you had to ask me, name one place on Overpass where you'd see an op versus op battle, I would never have guessed in the stairs of Overpass.
Pretty unorthodox.
That was a bit weird for Oscar to take that over to the ladder. And then, you know, of course, on the way back, Makalele's trying to make his rotation down. So the fact that they clash at that point kind of makes sense. But, I mean, Oscar coming up big with 2 kills. Left it in a 3-on-3. It's now boiled down to a 1-on-1. Stiko versus Dennis. But now it's Stiko's turn. The bomb to be planted. Dennis, will they go for the same sort of play? He doesn't actually have really any idea, it seems, where Stiko is coming from. And, yeah, he's going to get caught from behind. He was definitely expecting window. Didn't take much damage, just 20, but there it is. There's the full 100, and Stiko will win the clutch, and this time he has time, so it'll be 3-3.
Yeah, I definitely feel for Dennis there. You saw the flashbang come over from Stiko from short, but it landed around graffiti. So Dennis, I think, felt like it may have been a lower push.
Stiko probably did that on purpose.
Yeah, I feel like it was mind games. Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that Dennis kind of bit onto that, and he put himself in a position where he felt like he was most comfortable and, you know, safe. But Stiko played that to perfection. I'm not even going to rag on Dennis for losing that round. Like, that was just Stiko's big plays. And you can see that's a big deal for HellRaisers as well. It finally stops the 3-round curse and allows them to pick up some weapons and potentially build up their economy. They've got an AWP, but then again, G2.Kinguin have weapons as well. 3 players pushing aggressively here on the A side. Interesting. Going for the grenades, but they've lost the first play. Makalele with 2. The second one was through the wood. Oh my goodness, what a start for G2.Kinguin. 3 kills in as many seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you're always a bit fortunate to get that second player through the boards, but of course, if you see a head standing on top of a piece of plywood that's about 10 feet tall, like, people just aren't that tall, so you know someone's underneath. He gets the first one, continues spraying through the boards, and happens to connect to the face of that other player. So that was absolutely brilliant for Makalele. That'll bring things to a 4-on-2, simple, pulling out that USP fight 2 on the steps, and, well...
Did he just run out of ammunition for his AK?
I mean, he must have.
That's so awkward.
I don't see what he was shooting. I don't think he had spotted anyone prior to that, but I'm not sure it would have mattered much. Maybe he would get one more kill, but that's not going to affect Gamers 2 on the T side too much anyways.
Well, unfortunate. But HellRaisers, almost like the worst case scenario for them. They finally stop the ROP, they get themselves around, and then instantly lose. So, no weapons for you today. That will put them into a position where they have to push aggressively with the little pistols they have. It's 2 Deagles, CZ, P250. So it's definitely capable of landing some one-taps, especially in the hands of Simple and Kutcher with these Deagles. We've seen them do crazy things before. But again, G2.Kinguin in such a good position. They're going to be pushing aggressively through long. 4 players there. Other through party, that is going to be Rain. Well, it's really now on HellRaisers to try and get some information and land some bullets here. Otherwise, this will be going to G2.Kinguin again.
Yeah, I mean, the full eco, they have a couple people in some cheeky spots. You got Angel on the stairs, Stiko in the bathrooms, and Stiko will be the one found out. Now on the site, we'll go back to Akucher. He's going to fall. Now Angel from behind will actually find 2 with the CZ. And I think that he only run over and find a FAMAS. So, I mean, not the best weapon that you're going to want to have. I want to think about saving it. Maybe going to try to go for some more exits. He knows there's an AK. They probably heard the op, so if he can find one of those players and get a better rifle going into the next round, but no, not the case. He still works his way into the site, but Fox is there to stop him, and Kinguin now with another 2 in a row. So just a one-off win in round 6 for HellRaisers as, well, CT-sided map of Overpass. And Kinguin have a 2-round lead here.
Yeah, and the even more terrifying thing is not only is this a double eco for HellRaisers, but it's G2.Kinguin's choice of map. So, you know, HellRaisers like, okay, cool, we want to start on the easiest side, we want to rack ourselves up some rounds, but this has gone horribly wrong, and if G2.Kinguin win this round, which I expect they will, they're already almost at that point where they'll be happy with this half. So, all the pressure now starts to mount on HellRaisers' shoulders. Beautiful CZ work from Angel to get 1 frag, nearly a second as well. Did do significant damage to Yakum, who eats a Deagle round as well, but just about survives on 8 HP. And this does give the rest of HellRaisers a glimmer of hope. Nice headshot from Oscars, not the first time we saw him. Last time I think he had a Mag 7 in that position. But still, it's a 3-on-2. But all 3 players of G2.Kinguin are pretty low.
They are very low. Eagle's going to be 1 shot to anybody, actually. So all he's got to do is land the shots. That could have been a ridiculous 1v3. And as Landers was saying yesterday, you could have clipped that because they don't show you the enemy HP in the frag videos. That could have looked ridiculous for Stiko. But in the end, it is just going to be another 3 in a row for Kinguin. So leading 2-1 right now, and finally another rifle round coming out for the HellRaisers. Oscar with that op. At least it's not glass cannon. He does have Kevlar, but there are no nades. There's a decent amount on the rest of the team, and 2 kits, 1 on Simple, 1 on Kucher. And we'll just see Kinguin, and actually Kinguin switching it up maybe a little bit. They're going pretty quick, a bit of a delay, explode. They will get in front of that smoke. Simple gonna get caught a little bit trying to pull back out that A1S, but a very good flash coming in from Oscar will keep him alive. And there's a TK, yeah, Fox brings down Rain, so Fox taking the star player off of his own team. They did kill Simple, and Yakum will even it right back up. Actually, no, they've got the man advantage, 4 on 3, although Yakum and Dennis extremely low. Kucher stopping them from stepping into the site. The smoke that goes down should allow for that bomb plant. Oscar's line of sight is blocked, but what a shot he lands onto Dennis. Bomb goes down, 2 on 2. Kucher, we see so many kills through that little gap, but Kucher, I guess not wanting to give his position away, doesn't just start spraying. And Oscar, he's making sure no one is hiding out in that smoke still. There's the smoke into Monster. Yakum will have to push it. And Kucher peeking him now. Yep, will win that out. And Oscar hits his shot to Makalele, who was over on short.
Massive round for HellRaisers. I was going to say at the start of that round, you know, this is almost a make or break for them on this half. If they lose that, they're back into a force buy. And 7 rounds for G2.Kinguin, pardon me. So that was massive. But not out of the woods just yet. We saw the last time that G2.Kinguin won 3 rounds in a row, HellRaisers won 1, and then it went straight back to the terrorists again. So it's important that HellRaisers can finally get some rounds together consecutively. They've only managed to stick 2 together, and that was after the first round of the entire map. So this is crucial as well. And every single round from here on out is going to be difficult, but there's Oscar again through into connector. Lands the shot onto Makalele, that's the orphan, then buried. Angel goes to the rest of play, does get the trade out. Just ruthless aggression from HellRaisers.
Wow,
Stico with the revenge frag. That is massive plays and very ballsy indeed, I've got to say, from HellRaisers. Mixing up the pace and catching G2 unaware.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I mean, Oscar pushes, going by himself into the connector, finds his opening pick, is able to retreat. Then Angel pushes up mid, comes, does the jump into party to peek out long, and then Stico also just pushed long, so he's there with the crossfire to set up the trades. And, I mean, it would have been a good situation even if Angel didn't get that first frag, but the fact that Angel killed one when it was 1 versus 2, and then Stico was there to even find a trade after that, the CT aggression pays off for HellRaisers big time. It leaves them with a 4 on 2, and, oh, Simple that flash. Didn't quite bounce the way he wanted. But there it is anyways. Simple and Stico finding those 2 final frags. And now we are within 1. And finally they got a round in a row. It'll take 1 more, it looks like. Really, even already the money for Gamers2Kinguin is somewhat low. Fox and Yakum with the 4K plus. The others, yeah, so it will be safe. They get it. They got that 2 for 1.
Yep, Yakum again, just trying to equalize the economy somewhat. He's going to get the Techno and armor, but that's really all that G2.Kinguin have gone for, other than just a deagle here and there. But there's always that threat for HellRaisers that if they lose multiple players in this round, that may just be enough for G2.Kinguin regardless, even if they don't win the round. So, the last couple of times we've seen G2.Kinguin in these kind of scenarios, they typically bunch together and push through aggressively. It looks to be the case again here. It looks as though A is going to be the targeted side of choice. But no, they're wrapping around here. And I feel like Rain's probably going to play interference, going to try and be a pain in the backside while the rest of his team goes through short. They should be getting through. Angel just starts to tap through there. Let's take a bit of damage himself. I don't know what that was through. I assume the wood.
It's got to have been through the plywood, yeah.
Damn.
Pretty funny.
That would have been pretty sick if you got headshotted through that.
So for a moment, that was pretty similar to the pistol round. They kind of left Rain up at middle and long area while they were thinking about going B. And now they've reversed it the other way around. Oscar taking another frag with that op. It's just Makalele at this point. And yeah, everyone will survive. So HellRaisers bouncing back nicely here on the CT side. It was looking like they might have just lost this game in the first half, but suddenly they've brought it back to 6-6. They keep all 5 there. That'll boost up their economy. They're at this point able to sustain a loss and then pull out rifles again, which is always the position you want to find yourself in on the CT side. But here comes another rifle from Kinguin. And yeah, Fox did have an AK on the ground for him. So here we go, round 13.
Again, Simple struggling a tiny bit, 3, 5, and 9, rock bottom of the scoreboard. He is playing on B, which sometimes can be a bit of a pain in the backside to play, especially if A's being taken or if you're being rushed a lot. But there's Angel, this time with the aggressive play goes in for seconds. Yakum will avenge his fallen teammate Dennis. A decent trade though for G2.Kinguin, all things considered. 1-for-1 trade. will definitely favour them. And this is going to force HellRaisers now to stack 2 and 2 on the sites. Leaves them a tiny bit vulnerable to aggression. The bomb is still in transition towards B, but it can easily wrap back around. There's still a minute to play with for G2.Kinguin. And they have 3 smokes at their disposal. So if they just play the waiting game here, Joey, they can definitely out-mind game HellRaisers, maybe force them into a rotation and try and capitalize on that.
Yeah, probably. Man, I was fully expecting with Angel pushing, I was expecting to just hear the blue door open and then Stico come out and finish off that second kill. So it would have ended up in a 4-on-3, similar to what we saw at middle and long A couple rounds ago with those two. But Angel, I mean, CT aggression, he goes out by himself. I mean, he's pretty fortunate to have even found the first kill, because as we know, the 4-on-4 did favor Kinguin. But here's Simple. He heard you talking about him, Vince. He's like, oh, I'm 3-5-9. Well, how about 6-5-9 as he's pulled in a triple kill, maybe even room for one more. But I think it might be Oscar who ends up finding Makalele. Yep.
Yeah, 2 crucial frags, and that's the thing with Simple, isn't it? Even if he's having a bit of an off game, he's still capable of landing the big plays, the big impact kills. That's exactly what happened there. Not only did he get the 2 kills, but the bomb was also dropped just outside the monster. So from there on in, G2 had to just go ruthless aggression, try and neutralize him, pick up that bomb, and make something happen. G2.Kinguin now looks like they're into another one of these kind of eco/deagle rounds. I guess we could go deco. Oh, it's not. Jacob spoiled it, man. Tech 9 and Kevlar.
Yeah, well, the Tech 9 didn't exist when deco was the prevailing term.
Not a pure deco, but definitely in our hearts.
Not that I was ever around for that. I think it was of absence from Counter-Strike Resource. So, I hear it was quite good.
Yeah, pretty rough to play against for sure.
I guess, I mean, it was even a thing at the end of 1-6. I mean, the Deagle definitely wasn't the Deagle from Source. And honestly, the Deagle in Go is probably closer to the Deagle in 1-6. In the sense that it's pretty strong, but I mean, there's, I'd say, a bit more of a randomness feel to it in CSGO. Like, sometimes you're like, yep, bullets are hitting faces. The other time you're like, does this gun have bullets? I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
I definitely feel like, I think we discussed this before, but I feel like the hitbox changes recently definitely helped the Deagle a lot. And as we say that, Makalele doesn't land anything on Simple.
Well, you missed the first shot standing with the Deagle. You're not hitting another one.
Yeah, indeed. This does give Kinguin the opportunity now to get themselves a healthy buy, but again, I gotta say, you know, props to HellRaisers. They just won 5 rounds in a row. Up until this point, it was 6-3 in Kinguin's favor. It was looking really poor for HellRaisers. Like, they're just gonna slip away. And I did highlight that their 4th round, which was 5 rounds ago now, when they had the AWP and the M4s in, like, this is a crucial round. If they lose this, the chances are they just collapse in this half. But they win that round, they managed to stabilize, and now it looks like G2.Kinguin have to just push in aggressively. They catch Angel, who was looking for the information, jumping on top of the sandbags. Meanwhile, the exit frags, or I should say the entry frags, pardon me, are just all over the board for Fox. 2 frags for him on long, I believe, and that's just going to leave Kutcher and Simple.
I gotta wonder about that a little bit. Simple throws a smoke into Monster, you know, as you do. And then he throws the smoke deep in the Monster, and then he throws a Molotov in front of it. So if they wanted to push it through Monster, they'd have to walk through a smoke, or run through it, and then see a Molotov, and then decide again, oh, am I pushing through this Molotov too? I would think not. So I think after Simple throws that, he should be watching the sandbags construction area, but he's not, and someone just walks up there, I think it was Yakum, and they get a pick. And I don't know, I think that falls a little bit on Simple. Like, at that point, you throw that smoke, you throw that Molotov, if someone happens to push Monster and still kill you, like, they deserve it.
Yeah, slight lapse in communication potentially, but this round's not over just yet. 2 defused kits on HellRaisers in 3-on-2. That's going to make things a lot harder though. Fox with the first does tag up Simple. And there's the second kill as well. He's on for the ace potentially with 16 HP. He's going to find Yakum, but can't get the frag. And that will give Kinguin the 7th round. And all things considered, you know, if you just came into this game without watching a single round and said, hey, Kinguin, we're going to give you 7 rounds on your T side, I think they'd have taken that with both hands. They'll be relatively disappointed though after being 6-3 up, I feel.
Yeah, but if you gave them that question and they agreed to it, and then you were like, this is where you would have been at halftime, and they would be like, wait, what? We would have been up 6-3? Surely we could have done better, but yeah, I mean, that's the nature of this game. are winning so much on the less favored side, but eventually you kind of are going to get figured out, and it becomes harder and harder to win as you get later and later into the half. So it's not crazy that the floodgates kind of open there for HellRaisers to get the CT rounds. They did get 5 in a row, and then the same thing is true right now that HellRaisers won so many rounds in a row. The gamers too can kind of adjust, and they're able to take that last round of the half. We saw it again yesterday on Train when it was like 8 rounds in a row, and it was 11-3, and then who was it? Dignitas gets that last round of the half, or something like that. I don't know. I can't quite remember the complete specifics. Maybe it was 10-5.
On Train yesterday, it was 11-4. Yeah.
Was it 11-4 half?
Yeah. They got 4
so
rounds on
crazy.
CT side, because I even remember saying, like, this may be too far, like a bridge too far.
Yeah, then they just get that very last round after the other team had won like 8 in a row. So that's kind of just the nature of Counter-Strike. So 8-7, I mean, I was pretty worried for HellRaisers. I'm thinking, wow, was yesterday a fluke? They were looking really good against Flipside, or do they just know Flipside very well because they have Simple and they can kind of counter-strat a little bit, since Simple was on that team for some time, although it has been a while. Or they've changed up a little bit. Look at Fox. And it's actually Oscar and Kucher that will find the kills. Rain goes down. That must have been more towards Sandbags than Fox falling at Monster. So the bomb to be planted. And I mean, B is the easier site to retake, but 3 on 5, that's going to be tough.
It is.
Slowly try to work their way in.
That's going to make things even harder.
Or not.
Angel picks up the first headshot on Dennis, then spins around, looks connector, gets his second as well. Very nicely done. Feel a bit sorry for Fox there. I think his crosshair was like maybe a couple millimeters too low. He was aiming at like the shoulder/neck of that first player who came through Monster. And so therefore I think he tagged him like 3 or 4 times with the USP and just like couldn't get anything done. Kind of unfortunate.
Hey,
there.
at least the neck's a headshot now. Ish,
yeah, true.
Kind of.
Sort of.
But you can still hit the super arms of the new models.
Look at this. 5-7s, 2 Deagles, no scouts. It's interesting to see how different teams approach these force buy scenarios. On HellRaisers, they did go for the scout pickup. So obviously wanting to play the closer angles. You can see Dennis is still getting information, just jumping over the van at the back there.
You can kind of think of the Deagle as, I guess, the scout of the pistols. I mean, it does do a whopping like 40 damage, even to the stomach, I think. Something like that. So then the 5.7s can come in and clean up a bit easier, but, I mean, you know what it's easy to clean up with? A room, and that would be the MAC-10.
A room. Nice. Rain, all by himself. 5-7 in hand. Isn't going to get aim punched. He does have the Kevlar, so that could allow him to land a couple of tasty headshots. He may even think about just saving this or trying to get exits and then pull himself back if he can get an AK. Because honestly, 5-7 Kevlar is pretty big on a map like Overpass. You can hold the close angles in multiple places. So yeah, he gives his position away and he just wants to back away here. Or relocate for exit frags. I'm liking it. It may not pay off for him.
I like that.
I could definitely give him props for trying, right?
It was like an episode of Bugs Bunny, you know, Elmer Fudd's trying to find Bugs Bunny, but he goes down one rabbit hole and just comes up the other right behind him. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was watching cartoons.
I'll tell you what, Rain didn't do a bad job there, because even though he only got 1 frag, the bomb did take down a second player, so that means that there's going to be 3 rebuys now for HellRaisers. Now, of course they're going to be able to afford this, no real problems, but Rain did a better job than maybe I originally gave him credit for. I was thinking he just saved that weapon and pull himself back, but he had other plans. He's trying to do the damage to HellRaisers and kind of maybe sacrifice his own life in the process. This does mean, though, that HellRaisers now have 2 MAC-10s, knowing that Kinguin have absolutely nothing at their disposal. It's a full USP round. So this is an eco in the purest sense of the word.
Yep, which means almost no chance to win it. I wonder if they will even find a kill, and I'll use the term again. The Room Brooms will come out to clean up these ecos, and actually Kucher will fall. There's a Galil of Stiko finding 2, and there's another MAC-10 landing a kill. So 2 MAC-10 kills. You guys still got your 2 AKs at Galil, and Angel, I guess he just threw it away. Was he trying to find something else? So I'll have to buy an AK on this round. And here we go. G2.Kinguin going, so yeah, no op comes out. I was kind of wondering what their distribution between A1S and A4s were yesterday, and it seems like it's 1-4. Only Dennis going with the A1S.
Yep. at least they do all have Kevlar, and they all have enough grenades actually to force off here, including 4 HEs, which 2 of them have already been thrown out. I think one of them's kind of derped a tiny bit at the end. Just went over the boost wall. What an entry frag from Angel! You know, it's something we haven't necessarily talked about too much before, but every time he casts this kind of overpass, you can almost guarantee he's going to push short, often by himself, and still get like a one-on-one trade. The guy is just ridiculous.
Yeah, Angel was definitely the biggest part to HellRaisers on overpass. He's super good at opening up that B site. And he'll do that when they're actually taking B, he'll do that when it's a fake, or the rest of his team is even just an A, so Angel very good being a thorn in the side of any team that they're playing on overpass. But look at Dennis, man, he plays close to that smoke, he gets the player pushing through it, he's got no tracers either, as he tries to shoot through a couple more shots, and is even able to retreat, take the player down on short as well. But look at Simple with this break, man, taking down Dennis and Makalele. Here's Rain, seeing Simple, he'll peek out, he'll find 2. So nice 3K from Rain, but gotta give it, the flashiest kills go to Simple on that round.
That's still a solid round for HellRaisers though. He took 4 weapons away from Kinguin, which means they're going to continue to circle the drain here. It's going to be Mag 7 and a FAMAS, so not too shabby. But I love that Dennis plays the M4 A1S there on long, because typically you are going to be on these smokes. And as you called, the traces, or the lack thereof, give Dennis a real opportunity to put all the pressure down on the terrorist. It plays to the A1S's strengths, but Makalele onto Oscar, who seemed to have his crosshair down towards the steps, so he was hoping that someone would peek that way. Exactly, and unfortunately, he didn't get anything from that exchange.
Couldn't shoot him in the toes fast enough. And
Nope.
Dennis has been spotted. Angel finds Yakum, and again, that's Angel just operating alone. And Dennis nearly went down, getting shot through one of that one spammable like kind of concrete wall at the side entrance to the bathrooms. Dennis took a ton of damage through that. And now it's Simple. Oscar's gone down, and that's always nice, right? Like, Oscar might be the main opper, but if Oscar dies early in the round, there's still Simple that can go pick it up and fight back in a, you know, a 4-on-4 or even a 4-on-5 situation. And Simple hits that nice shot on that jumping player. Stiko brings down Dennis and actually finishes off his own kill. He had brought Dennis down to 32 earlier in the round, so it's just Fox and Rain right now going to try to do some damage. And actually it's really more important that they hold on to these guns, because as you mentioned in round 4, only 1 player lived for Kinguin, so their money is going to be shot if they don't save these 2 guns.
They absolutely will. And you saw there the issue with being CTs and being a player down. You need information. You need to be able to call to your team, okay, like stack A, they're coming here. In doing so, Makalele jumps up for the info, and Simple had already read his mind. He'd read the script, he knew what was coming up, and just pops in. And that's just raw game sense from Simple, like straight up. And it's not too bad, right? Oscar dies, and he's thinking, okay, they've lost the first player, that they're AWP out of commission. Oh wait, they've got Simple, a guy who's an absolute monster with the AWP as well. So not too bad at all for HellRaisers. As you say, they do save the 2 weapons, but the rest of the team is going to be on a force with a scout, a CZ. Not sure what Yakum's going to have. There we go. He's going to have a FAMAS and a 5-7 in the hands of Fox. Not a great buy from Kinguin whatsoever. And if they lose this, they're going to be back into like another eco, and HellRaisers will be looking at 14-8 potentially lead.
Yeah, let's see where the scout... Oh, scout's actually playing at barrels. That seems terrifying. I would not want to take a scout to the barrels at the B site. I feel like if you're getting rushed, unless you hit a headshot, you're in dangerous waters. But there's Yakum. He'll find that first kill, and that's very aggressive out to the fountain. But Kucher there on the other side of the bathrooms coming through, takes him down. So 4-on-4. HellRaisers in a good position. Dennis still playing a close angle in the bathrooms with that CZ, hoping he can't bring one down and find a rifle. The Angel working through the stairs connectors one more time. Rain out in construction. And that door will open. Rain's going to be very, very aware of what's going on. Oscar, meanwhile, takes down Makalele, and well, there's a nade thrown out the door, trying to, in a sense, throw something in the D and just fake it, maybe pull a rotation. Dennis, we saw him earlier waiting with that CZ, finally brought down by Stiko. Here's Rain moving up, finds Angel, but brought down to 19 HP. It's a 3-on-2 retake. Fox trying to work his way up the stairs, does take down Kucher just as the bomb goes down. 2-on-2 now. Rain from behind, Oscar close, takes him down into the 1-on-1, and Fox with the 5-7 will win it.
I did not see that happening, Joe. I thought that was going to be a landslide victory for HellRaisers. They had the players' advantage, they were on the site. Huge plays from Rain and Fox, though, keep them in that round and keep them in this game as well. But again, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Their economy is still awful. They're still in a position
they're
where...
not out of the woods, yeah, that's for sure.
Definitely not. Yes, they're going to have a decent enough buy up here, but HellRaisers know it. They can sense the blood in the water, and they are going to go for the full buy as well. With an Eagle on Simple, he's just as good with this weapon as he is any other, really. And AKs, we still need to hold on for dear life here. 24 for 11 is Oscar, by the way. This guy is just ridiculous. Consistently is ridiculous as well.
Oh, and a lot of information being gathered for G2.Kinguin when they push off into construction with Rain and Fox. Realize that no one is here, so Fox has got a good read looking at the blue door. Yakem actually will find Simple. And Stiko, oh no, Stiko couldn't finish it off, so Angel had to finish off Stiko. So Yakem's down, Stiko's down, but that does hurt. Angel with the TK. Of course, it's not too big of a monetary pain, right? It's only minus 300 these days instead of, what was it, 3,000 or maybe even 3,300, something ridiculous back in the day.
Yeah, a lot more forgiving for sure. It's still a real pain in the backside though.
Yeah. Whoa.
Right. Player advantage here. Only one player on B, and there's still time for HellRaisers to wrap back around through connector if they choose. But it seems like they are committed onto this site now. They got Molotov, a nade, and a smoke in the hands of Kutcher, and he's going to start using them right now. But there's Makalele. There's spray from Dennis. He's going to put down Angel, but Kutcher now steps up, and he cannot deliver. And Kinguin, with 3 players surviving, that is good enough. That is going to go some way to stabilize. And our HellRaisers, who just fought the last round, they have to eco. So that could be a big round for Kinguin if they manage to pull this one back.
Yeah, and even though they win that one with 3, they're still, the money is rough. But, as you mentioned, the eco coming up for HellRaisers, so this is the big chance. This is the money-building round where your investment starts to pay off. Your hard work, you're about to earn some cash on this one if you're the CTs. But they need to keep everyone alive, right? There's still a CZ, still a Deagle. You gotta be very, very careful and hit your shots. And Makalele will start us off by, well, hitting a shot. Here's Yakem boosting behind the side. Have yet to have seen that one today. And they'll be the first to pull it off. And here you go. It looks like it will be the flawless round. There's, you know, slim to none of the chances that Simple gets even a frag, and there it is. He'll be brought down by Yakem. So very, very good for Kinguin.
As good as it gets, really. No players lost. Complete shutout. Just what they needed. And HellRaisers with the full AKs. Decent enough buy up. I haven't really seen too many all-out aggressive pushes from them. It's typically been very samey kind of rounds, and I feel like, well, that started to work at the start of this half. It's maybe getting called a bit from Kinguin now. I heard you groaning in the background. What happened?
Sorry.
Oh, he's yawning. Wow!
Not because I'm bored. I was just up really late last night playing the Battlefront closed beta.
I was like, did someone knife somebody else? What happened? No.
I was hoping that didn't go through the noise gate, but I got called out real quick.
It's all good. One for
I
trade,
mean, we're
though.
gamers. I can't wake up to cast at noon, right? Like, that's asking too much. I'm sorry. But I'm here. I'm here anyways. And this game has been quite entertaining. 3 in a row now for gamers, too. It was looking like it might have even been decided in the first half, but HellRaisers fought back, continued to fight, and even put up a bit of a lead, but that's about to be closed. We got a 4-on-4 that will favor the HellRaisers, and even Rain is pretty low, while Rain's in a good spot to maybe get one more. HellRaisers will shift that bomb back to the B side.
Another pretty slow round though, and I feel like this really does play into Kinguin. When I say that, that kill is massive for a Kutcher, and also HellRaisers, but Fox peaks at the perfect moment. 2 frags for him, and a 3rd as well. You must know the last player is probably going to be pushing in, just picked up the bomb, but gets caught. As he turns around, it doesn't matter. Makalele from upper delivers the fatal blow to Oscar. And HellRaisers, they need to change something up here, Joey. This is starting to get a bit too predictable.
Well, maybe. I mean, Rain goes down over in construction. Fox is like, alright, at this point they're probably splitting. Let me throw this Molotov into Monster. And then he throws the Molotov, waits like a second and peeks. And I think he caught one person out with the smoke who was maybe trying to extinguish that. And then they were completely lined up. And I think there was even an op there, but visibility kind of limited as the fire and the flames are in that tunnel. So it's really just Fox with that massive individual effort that brought that round back. I mean, if that didn't happen, they surely lost that round. So, oh my gosh. So here's Kucher with a 1 dig through the triangle here. in the park. And now Simple getting in behind, but having to deal with those pesky lamp posts always seem to be in your way. Whether it's Inferno or Overpass, a lamp post will find the way to block your shots.
CT's worst nightmare. But Simple has managed to get himself that AK-47, and G2.Kinguin, who really should have been strong favourites to pick up this round, are now going to be struggling a tiny bit. Rain, though, he's stepping up through Bathroom, will be pulling back, heard noise through Connector. And this could have given away the strat to G2.Kinguin, hearing the Connector push. They must have a pretty good idea that there could be a wraparound onto B. And now that Fox has spotted players, that surely has to be the case. Makaleli and upper. He's going to be coming through with the AWP, but they get this bomb plant. It could be enough, but the Molotov lands right next to Oscar's feet. The deagle in the hands of Angel is not enough. But again, G2.Kinguin lose casualties, but their economy is in such a place now where it doesn't really matter as much. They can easily replenish the weapons.
Yeah, I mean, even still, to go on that kind of eco round, and HellRaisers were able to get, what, 2 kills?
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. Not bad at all.
Well, 3 kills, I think, in the end.
Oh yeah, I think, yeah, 3 kills. But, as you mentioned, the economy is quite good for gamers who Kinguin, so it's maybe not the biggest of deals. Although, it can still have a long-term effect if HellRaisers start to come back, if they win this round, for instance. Here comes Angel pushing over to short, brings down Rain, and Angel might want to just do his best to try and stay alive. He did have support coming in from the blue door. And once again, it will be Fox over at Barrels playing Monster. Dennis going to the sandbags. So 2 and B, 2 and A right now.
Bomb's still way back in Connector. Smoke is going to stop the initial push as well, although honestly I don't think HellRaisers would have even tried that in the first place. But obviously Kinguin have to be very careful when they're a player down. Grenade comes in, doesn't really do too much. And again, HellRaisers are just waiting out the CTs. Again, this is the kind of situation where the CTs need to go for information. You can see Fox goes up, lands himself a frag, doesn't really tell Kinguin too much. Only spotted 1 player and got the kill. And it was Angel, who's always playing short anyway, honestly. So G2.Kinguin can't afford to over-rotate. You can see they're staying in position, and this could play into the hands of HellRaisers. 30 seconds, here come the smokes. This is going to call out the play to Kinguin, though. And just watch for Dennis in particular to quickly, as soon as this smoke lands, to start rotating up towards the A side when things become obvious. Here we go. He's going to shoot across. Is he going to get there in time, though? Fox is still on the site, just making sure this isn't a fake, and in doing so, Stico should be able to get this plant down. Simple lands the headshot with the AK-47. The Aiken will be taken out. Makaleli behind the site, behind the truck, is in smoke. You can't really see anything. And Oscar picks up Fox, who did try and get round the back of Connector. Big round for HellRaisers. And Dennis and Makaleli may just try and save these weapons right here, right now. They've got an AWP, they've got an M4. Still 12,000 in equipment value. No point throwing that away. Very, very well played from HellRaisers.
Yeah, I like the decision to kind of just leave Angel behind and they go to the A site. I think they'd almost had enough of Fox. Fox had some big rounds back-to-back over at the B site. And it was really good sense by Oscar once they had planted, they got into the post plants, that he turns around, he's watching short A, and he shuts down Fox, who had come up the stairs, was looking for the backstab, but was given no chance because Oscar shot him immediately. So, well done by HellRaisers. They tie it right back up. Of course, those 2 guns were saved, so there will be another rifle coming out for gamers too. Kinguin, HellRaisers having to win here. I mean, round 27 is going to be a big one. A really big one, because it'll get a team right before match point, which is then going to pressure each of these guys a little bit more to kind of buy to win. And I think that'll be a bit worse for Kinguin, as their money is lower. HellRaisers would probably be in a slight forced buy situation themselves, but they're on the T side, it's a bit cheaper, and some of them have actually quite a bit of money here. So yeah, I think this is a really big round for Kinguin. They need to try to survive and get up to 14 first, or they might just lose this map.
I completely agree. This is the most important round of the match so far. A lot rests on this one map. And although G2.Kinguin have got the first kill, you can see 3 players have been pretty heavily punished in this round. Just Yakum and Makaleli are on full hit points, and Makaleli did spot a player up on long, caught a glimpse of a couple of them. But again, it doesn't necessarily tell Kinguin a great deal. It just tells them they're on long right now, because they have no control over Connector, which is such a key part of this map. And honestly, G2.Kinguin have barely pushed through this. We saw HellRaisers on their CT side. Oscar consistently went there with the AWP. Kinguin haven't, and therefore, even though they spotted the first couple players,
my
there's always that possibility they'll push through connector. I think McAlady did spot a hand just peeking around the corner.
I think he might have seen the AK, yeah. When he was, with the new animations, he saw that AK kind of whip out.
2 players in the bathroom! Kucha has managed to trade out. There's Nathan McAlady with 2 as well. Huge from Kinguin. McAlady in particular. And HellRaisers, this is almost the identical play that they went for a couple rounds ago. It just doesn't pay off for them this time.
So Angel's going to be poor. He's been dying a lot. He's got 20 deaths. He's always been that man to work up short. Sometimes it works, but even if it does work, he usually dies in the round. So he's taken so many deaths. That's why he's poor. That's why he has a CZ Kevlar and nothing else. The rest of his team, you know, was like 4500s plus. So they've got a full buy going in on 4 people here. McAlady going to get real aggressive. Try to hit an up shot. Can't do it. Gets blind. Will fall back. Angel moving up those stairs real quick, trying to catch him, and another shot could be missed, so that's 2 shots not hit for McAlady, and Kucher will open up long. 2 frags, just like that. Yakum Dennis are down. Now McAlady, third is the charm. He will find Angel. It's 3-on-3 in round 28. And that nade actually goes off on top of Optimus, so I don't think that was effective whatsoever. Stiko's worked his way in around that smoke, hits a shot on the McAlady, and we'll be able to get out of the fire with the Molotov. Up in the green bin is Rain, able to see over the smoke lines. Nicely done, and simple jumping with the AK. I don't think that even had a chance of working out. Kucher had 3 kills, 3 HP, and about 45 seconds to try to juke out Fox here, who does have a Molotov. So if Fox is, you know, even in the vicinity of the correct site, just toss that Molotov, and that should stop a bomb plant. But no, it looks like Kucher will get it down. Oh, sorry, I thought that was an HE in front of him. It might have been a smoke. Would have been a big pickup to just run over some nades for Fox. And Kucher will actually, even with 3 HP, I go to play aggressive. I think he heard that. So he knows that this player is dropped. He's got him in his sights, and Kucher with the 4K wins it. I think 1v3, right?
1v2. It was a 2-on-2 and Simple ran in onto the truck and did that jumping AK shot.
Right, yeah.
Off. But yeah, you kind of said there that he plays aggressive with 3 HP. Honestly, he kind of had to there, because the thing is, if he comes into an all-out confrontation 1v1 in the open, he's dead, man. Like, any bullet that hits him, he's dead. So I really like the fact that he went aggressive and close range as well, which is going to play to his slight strengths with the AK-47. Very well played from Kucher, and again, that has put HellRaisers now in an advantageous position. It was looking like they were going to be 2 rounds behind, trying to save, take us into overtime. Now G2.Kinguin on an eco, just to take themselves into overtime. It's one of the reasons CS is such a fantastic game to watch, because of these kind of moments. Everything shifting, every little dynamic being blown over. Oscar's going to be having a quick peek here, and nice play from G2.Kinguin, like they're holding positions where they can't be spotted. What a shot from Yakum! What? Was that a one-tap?
No head armor for Oscar.
That has to be... Oh, he didn't have head armor, and he has no dollars.
I mean, my face when the USP is actually better than the op if you don't buy a head armor.
Just laser beams shooting into the face. To be honest, though, that may just be a drop in the ocean, because G2.Kinguin still have... Oh, okay, never mind. All bets are off.
Yeah, that hurt. So 3-on-3, I mean... Oh my gosh, Rain for that 1 kill position played by the Cafe actually gets that 1 kill with just a P250. I mean, you say 1 kill position, that's more so when weapons are equal, but at that range with the P250, nice aim from him. Still 2-on-2, Fox with the USP, can't do much. McAlady with the Deagle. We saw some crazy Deagle antics yesterday. Can McAlady keep it alive going into the second day here? And planted on the reverse side of that sight box, so like the terrorists will be able to play on bank and stairs, but now the smoke and a bit of a gap there, but McAlady can't quite see through, but he can be seen. Probably his foot spotted, maybe the center ID popping up, I don't know, but Stiko takes him down. It's Stiko with a 4K on that round. Diminished a bit because it was kind of that eco from G2.Kinguin, but still, it was a close round. So Stiko steps up, does what needs to be done, and it's 15-14. Gamers 2 can buy, but it is not that good of a round.
Definitely not. No defuse kits at all, but plenty of grenades. And to be fair, HellRaisers typically have gone for slow rounds, so it's not like they've been sneaking out bomb plants. Oh, McAlady! I didn't quite catch that. I just switched on to him afterwards. Did he switch his up too fast? I think he may have gone to his knife as a player jumped up. But he does manage to survive and relocate, picks up the kill onto Stiko. That's massive for G2. What I was going to say before is because of the slow rounds that HellRaisers have gone for, the lack of defuse kit's not necessarily a huge issue. Because if you can just stop them from pushing in, grenades is a lot more important for me in this style of play that HellRaisers currently have.
Right? I mean, it's
Exactly.
not like you're ever more than 3 seconds from the bomb, unless you happen to be like pushed all the way long A as a CT when the bomb is being planted in A B. And at that point, I think your positioning was more of the problem than you not having a kit. You can even argue that you'd probably either want a kit and like almost no nades, or you'd want to try to get full nades and then not go for a kit. Because with the nades, you can defend the sites easier, so you might not need a kit. But without nades, or like if you got 2 smokes instead of just buying a kit, you might have wanted to just get a kit. Go for a retake, which again can be hard without nades. I don't know. Basically, you just want a lot of money in Counter-Strike.
This is such a slow round again from HellRaisers though, and they could have forced into this. They lost the first player, but I think they caught Dennis. And the rest of G2 slightly off guard, but it doesn't really matter anyway because Dennis has landed the shot, relocated to long, and this is going to be around now to G2.Kinguin. There is no way they lose from this position. Surely not.
Well, you say that.
The kills are coming in. I can't believe what I'm witnessing here. If they manage to clutch this, that would have been a complete catastrophe for G2.Kinguin, but they have pulled us into overtime. And this game and this map is going to continue here. What a game it's turned out to be.
Yeah, so just like that. 15-15 as heading into overtime. And this will be pretty fun, right? So now the economy is kind of taken out of it a little bit in overtime since it's MR3 10K. Everyone will have at least like 2 full rounds, 2 rifle rounds back to back. They're not just, you know, trying to play against that economy of your opponents. Of course, if CTs, even if they lose 2 rounds, they will be more or less broken going into 3rd round of OT of the half. Even terrorists sometimes can be too, so let's see what happens. What do you think? Who's got the edge in the rifle rounds?
That's really difficult for me to say because I think both teams have had they're both the positives and the negatives coming through into this game. For me, HellRaisers have been consistently way too slow. Like I get that sometimes you want to slow down the pace. That's completely fine. That's all well and good. But you need to mix that up with some fast plays as well. I don't think we saw, other than ecos or like very, very slow upgraded pistol rounds, then push onto a site in the first 30 seconds of a round. Like, I don't think we saw that. So I need to mix that up a tiny bit. We saw G2.Kinguin go for these kind of rounds through Monster. We saw them go through Short as well. And for me, that's what HellRaisers need to do more of. I think I'd probably give the slight edge towards G2.Kinguin, though. Getting themselves back in, the momentum's going to be going in their favor. I feel like they have the star quality power to potentially just take over rounds with a couple of huge plays from likes of Rain or, you know, Dennis and Makalele as well has been stepping up a tiny bit today. So I'd give the slight advantage to G2.Kinguin, but you never quite know, right?
I would have pointed out Makalele as well. His op has been pretty instrumental here in getting a lot of rounds for Gamers 2. Even the rounds where he starts off whiffing a couple shots, he ends up finding, I mean, at least one and a lot of times a double. He's got a lot of multi-kill rounds. And here we go, ready to start off into the first half of OT number 1. How many OTs will it take? Who knows? I'm involved, so maybe like 100. And I like that every time the round restarts, that this bottle just falls out of the sky and lands in the garbage cans. It's pretty funny.
I have literally never noticed that. The more you learn, the more you know.
I mean, I didn't until right now. Thank you. Our cameraman is still trying to hit the club. Molotov going into the stairs there, and it's actually Simple who will get the frag onto Dennis. Landed some shots, and like I said, fire starting to spread. But here's Rain and Makalele getting 2 more, and it's all been trades until right then. Fox taking a couple down. The bomb dropped on the other side of Monster and through the smoke. Simple will drop a flash. Tries to... Oh, he does. Yeah, I mean, spots him, aims at, and just keeps on spraying, so takes him down. Kind of fighting against his own flash to do it. That worked out in that one instance, but Rain able to get Simple before he can retreat, so Gamers 2 will take that first round, and that one decided pretty quick.
So unfortunate there for Simple that he didn't, you know, preemptively decide somebody's behind toxic barrels and throw a nade up there, because I think it was Rain who was up there with like 5 HP or something, so a grenade would have killed him. But of course, there's no way of him knowing that. It would have made the round a lot more interesting, though, that's for sure. That being said, though, HellRaisers do concede the first round, and G2.Kinguin are able to run that up into this round as well.
Another big nade.
Oh, the nade does so much damage to Dennis. But Yakum is there as well. There's Rain, but he also takes damage, so it's not clear-cut kills, but at the end of the day, the CTs are coming out ahead. Yeah, that's up until the moment where Stiko just decides to peek out with the grenade and AK combo. Very likely was called out that both players were low, and so therefore he went for that straight-up aggression. Can Stiko catch himself a third frag? No is the answer. And Makalele with the AWP, the aforementioned lightning AWP, he's going to try and put down some players here, and HellRaisers are going to be pushing towards the A side.
The old Makalele bomber number 2. And, I mean, this round, that nade was incredibly painful for G2.Kinguin. They get into a 5-on-3 position, but it's, I mean, generally you say those are never going to slip away from you, but that one was like, this one's probably going to slip away. Stiko's on the other side. He doesn't let them come out of the stairs. Brings down 2. That evens it right up, and Rain is still lower, so they've put themselves in a really good position, but Stiko kind of going in first, maybe jumping the gun a little bit there, or just not getting the support that he expected. He goes down to Fox behind Optimus, and Fox has had some really key holds in this match. I mean, look back to in regulation when he held on to B 2 rounds in a row with a triple kill through Monster. I think he ended up even getting a quad on that round. So he's been really good in holding on to Optimus, kills Stiko and the other player trying to make their way up. As the nade bounced just a little too far behind him. He was only on 20 HP when he got those frags.
We discussed this before on the CT side, that if you lose the first round, you're going to be into an eco. It's pretty brutal for the terrorists as well. You can see it, just Eagle and Oscar. Oh, Makalele with the peek. I think he just spotted a glimpse of the player before the flashbang landed. He's going to be aggressed on from Angel. Angel will pick him off point blank range. Here's Oscar as well, keeping the dream, keeping the hopes alive. I feel like maybe the 3-0 and overtime, maybe a bridge too far for HellRaisers to climb. The knife coming in. Yeah, he can go for the shank kill.
The golf
down to 4 HP. But not the kill. That's going to leave Fox. What did I just witness there?
I don't know. No, I mean, I'm glad because there was a chance that he actually just got that knife kill, and that would have been utterly ridiculous. And I mean, this is big. HellRaisers, they desperately needed the round. Losing 3-0 is almost going to be too difficult. I mean, it is overpass, so I guess the chance of possibly getting 3 right back is okay on this map, but to not even be able to trip up once, to make no mistakes is, I mean, that's got to hurt your chances. So it goes 2-1. Kinguin leading 17-16 right now, having a pretty good half, and you know, Makalele going out, getting aggressive, finding that opening pick at Fountain, then decides to even go down into the stairwell. I mean, maybe he should have just fallen back from that position instead of trying to look for some more, because I mean, that's where he got traded out, and that's where things started to unravel on that round.
It definitely didn't help his team. I'm curious now that HellRaisers on the CT side, if Kinguin are going to go for some aggressive pushes here, or if they're going to play more standard discipline play. Expecting to see an AWP from both teams, as you always would in overpass overtime. And there we go. Oscar and Makalele both picked themselves one up. The rest are going to be assault rifles. And now let's see how Kinguin open up this round. Let's see. HellRaisers typically would be stacking a couple players like towards Fountain, one connector. Angel will be lurking around short, and then the 5th maybe up long. Kinguin, though, they always do potentially have that threat to go on B very aggressively, and I think this is something that HellRaisers are definitely have in the back of their mind, because you can see 3 players stacked from B, the other 2 are gone on long. This is information grabbing right now for HellRaisers, and really they're getting nothing in return for this.
Yeah, so they leave themselves a little bit exposed up the middle of the map. No one covering that at all. Just set up at long for the trades, and of course 3 over to B. They'll put Kucher back, they rotate him up into the A site, so now that will be covered. And Kinguin, I mean, Kinguin haven't really been able to gather much information about this either. There's the Molotov to the tree. That'll force Stiko to move back, and he will find safety in the bathrooms here at long. So he'll be okay. Oscar is still trying to hit this shot, but he was aiming pretty close to the wall and just couldn't react fast enough. Here's Simple, though. He will be checked, and there's a Rain that finds the entry into the B site. Beautiful flash coming out from Angel. He takes down Rain. Is he going to have another flash crowd? He will. Only slightly blinded him and actually cannot get the frag, and Kucher unable to bring down Makalele as he hits that op shot. living on 14 HP, Yakum on 12. It's all going to come down to Oscar pulling out the P2K. Hoping someone might misstep and try to push the smoke. Instead, the nade is going to be what pushes, and well, you can't shoot nades.
That nade pretty much just forced him to back away and try and save. Beforehand, he's looking for the exit potentially, but there he's like, no, I'm done. Gotta back away. He could walk into Fox though. It's always the issue. And now this puts a lot of pressure on HellRaisers as well. To find themselves 18-16 behind. 19, of course, the magic number for Kinguin. Oscar will be able to save.
Terrorists win.
But it's very interesting for me to see how Kinguin approach their terrorist side as opposed to HellRaisers. HellRaisers constantly going up mid, stacking around bathroom, long, pushing aggressively, trying to get in with maybe 20-30 seconds to spare on one of the sites. Kinguin much more aggressive, a lot more assertive through on the B side. And so far that seems to be the way forward here for these two teams. Again, they're going to be starting off almost identically to how they did in the previous round. Aggressive play from HellRaisers though. You can see they're trying to take this game by the scruff of its neck, and they deliver the fatal blow to Fox. Double upset up from HellRaisers. Simple's finally picked it up for himself. And
he gets flashed though.
That's so unfortunate. If that flashed like a millisecond later, I think he would have picked off that frag.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Maybe he didn't want to give away the information that they were running 2 ops, so that's why he doesn't choose to shoot. But he will post up once more, looking down the drain. Meanwhile, a kill comes out from Makalele, so each op for each team getting a kill. Dennis brings down Kucher. Now it's going to be on Simple in the canal. Has that op, is not burning just yet. Goes to take a look back to Monster. They haven't quite pushed into there. It is. Simple gets a player on the sandbags area. That's Dennis brought down. Simple able to retreat back, trying to get as far away from this as possible. Can't flick over in time. Yakum will take him down, and now once again it's all on Oscar. He gets there a little bit quicker, but look at that smoke. That had to have been a botched smoke that just fell through the cracks there, over on like the wooden catwalk part, but it almost set up a one-way. I think that was for Rain sitting there, and that'll be it. 19-16. Overpass is in the books. G2.Kinguin will take it.
Certainly will. I think, again, we saw some of the limitations of HellRaisers T side there on Overpass, and I think it was called almost perfectly by G2.Kinguin, who then had a very strong T side themselves. So, deserved winners in the end, kind of expected. It was their choice of map, but a lot closer than I'm sure they were hoping for. Now we move over to Dust 2, HellRaisers' choice, and one I think could definitely go a very similar way, you know, down towards the 30th round. Gonna be a great game here, Joey.
Yeah, definitely. I'd expect. I mean, it's hard to say you expect this one to be closer now after that one just went to overtime. Going into this, I thought Dust 2 might have been the slightly closer map. Maybe the one where HellRaisers is a little bit more favored. They've played this map a lot. They're also a team that has restructured. Obviously, Kinguin making some changes too with Scream departing, but HellRaisers restructuring a lot more. 3 of their players are different to what they were even a month ago. So Dust 2 might favor them a bit more in that regard. But we'll just have to wait and see. So we've got that coming up next here in the CEVO MLG Pro League European Action Season 8. We got a triple header today, so we've got a lot more games coming up after this. And, of course, everyone battling to qualify for the LAN. That's November 6th through 8th. MLG.TV Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Head over to the MLG.TV website. A lot of you are already watching there, I'm sure. And you can find a place to buy tickets for that event. There are still some available, so make sure to show up. It's going to be a lot of fun. The food trucks are really good as well. Just going to mention that. So if you like good Counter-Strike and good food, not a bad place to hang out. And with that, Vince, I guess we'll go to a break before map 2 coming up.